Okay, everybody, so this is my review of Dexter New Blood Episode 7, Skin of Her Teeth. Wow, so we are really cooking right now in this season, and this episode, one of the short episodes of the season of 45 minutes, still felt like I just watched only 5 minutes of television, and that's really television at its best. And what's happening here in this season right now is it's showing you when a TV show is just grooving that everything that's culminated all the past episodes to get to this is just clicking now, and it's rewarding. So, I literally felt like I was clenching my butt this whole episode, which is always good. It's like when you eat a meal and you're so into the meal that you forget where you are. It's like an out-of-body experience. That's kind of what I felt this episode. I didn't expect that. I forgot I was even in my apartment watching it when it ended. I was like, it's over? That had me so invested. So what is really interesting to me about this episode is what's said in the middle of the episode by Dexter in a narration is, he used to be the predator, he says, but now I'm the protector. Funny what fatherhood will do to you. This is such an important line to me and is the name of the game for this episode and what's actually going on here. Because this was really set up well at the start of this episode. Because it's setting up how much Dexter really does want to protect Harrison. And because of that, he's doing a good thing for Harrison, that he's really messing up his own game as a serial killer. And it's going to be his downfall, clearly. But Dexter doesn't want to have Harrison lose someone again without knowing who they really are. So he's like, I'd rather leave it to the police to handle. Because he knows if he kills Kurt, that's going to be another tragic ending for Harrison. So he doesn't want that. But, Deb's like, okay, we know what happens when we have the police, take care of things. What could possibly go wrong, she says sarcastically. So it's so true. And you'll see as the episode goes on that Dexter's coming around to what Deb in his head was saying. And I love, too, after Dexter, we get to see do his forensic work, again, which was awesome with Angela. He has a great narration that really felt like Dexter of old, where he's like, where does this journey end? With Angela and the police, or me and my kill table, referencing Kurt? And what's happening here where you're seeing Dexter off his game is he spills Molly's secret, which was really, when you're watching it, you're like, this is not a good idea. Because him just bringing Angela to Kurt's cabin, he's leading Angela to figure this all out. He's giving her the breadcrumbs, right? So the police take care of this like he wants. But this is so risky by Dexter, and he's doing this to protect his son. But it's already setting up this sketchy vibe for Angela and for Molly later on. They connect all the dots about, this is bizarre behavior by Dexter. And him following Molly that day as Jim Lindsay, and she knows more, obviously, Angela, that he's actually Dexter, but him just having these, very not strong reasons for being there. Why is he following Molly and all this stuff? So we'll get more into that. But again, it's just dangerous territory what he's doing. And it really doesn't pay off because Kurt already cleared the scene. He's, like he says in this episode, the brilliant thing about Kurt as a killer, it's like a chess game. He always makes you think you're one step ahead, but you're really not. And it's actually, for me, bringing Kurt up on, let's say, the rankings of serial killers in Dexter so far as the villains. I think this brings him up this episode clearly. And we're going to get into Clancy Brown's fantastic performance in this episode in a second. There's also a very important moment that kind of just sneaks in here real quick with Harrison and Audrey because, he was just getting really close to Audrey and she was understanding him. And then she really got freaked out by him snapping that guy's arm at the wrestling match. So it's more to just set him off that Audrey's pushing him away, which is scary. That's when I start getting really scared of Harrison. And I like they do a little fake out shot after that is reminiscent of Dexter. The way they shot it, too, where him putting on the Dexter outfit, you think he's going to have someone on the table, but he's just going to work here for Kurt. But I like that. I thought that was a nice misdirect. And if things couldn't get any tenser, having this little showdown between Caldwell and Dexter at the diner is great television. This is what stuff people love to watch. Having our main protagonist, our antagonist kind of going head-to-head here. But you're already getting a tease of that Kurt's got something on Dexter because he's talking about the fate of them meeting that night with the snow falling. But Dexter still thinks he's got the win here because Angela shows up. It's a match on the DNA. And what I did think was funny, too, if you caught it, was when Dexter then texts Angela to know if Kurt's talking. There's a little text conversation prior you see the end of, and Dexter says, no, you don't. I was even more boring back then. I thought that was funny. Some kind of conversation. Maybe her just wanted to know more about the real Dexter. I thought that was actually a nice touch and had some humor to it. But see now, this mystery truck driver who's working for Kurt gives Harrison this note, and this is when you knew trouble was coming when he said, give this to your dad. And this is when Dexter's like, what the F is this? What's your game, Kurt? So one of my mini gripes here in this episode is, I know when Dexter goes to the police station, Teddy left, right? And he's been to this police station, obviously, because he's dating Angela. But it still was a little bizarre, like how at night did he get into that police station where the cells are that time? That they have Kurt say, how did you get in here? But there's no justification, really. I think we just kind of got to suspend our disbelief a little bit. I do think they could have written some way to make that a little more believable. But we get to see, which we kind of expected, obviously, that Kurt is a man who has power in the town, obviously, but power even behind bars. My favorite writing in this episode is when Dexter says to Kurt, you think you can get rid of everything? Something always gets left behind. And Kurt says, you're right, we can never get rid of all our sins. Not even fire can do that. So this was like the jaw-dropping moment for me. And I love he brings up how it wasn't snow in his jacket, it was ash. He connected that dot. And then he clearly went to where he burnt Matt's body. And the titanium was there. So titanium doesn't melt, he says to Dexter. So it was the titanium screws in Matt's leg that we saw the scar of. That was such a clever twist, especially in the time of Reddit. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if anyone else saw it, but I saw no one predict this. So to me, this was an excellent reveal. That little detail of seeing that scar in Matt comes back now. And that really just screwed Dexter over, thinking, again, that he gets away with everything smoothly, but he left a big thing behind. And this has to terrify Dexter now, because he even says the line, if it was him, he would want revenge. So now he has to be on Harrison like a hawk. Now he's really got to consider actually just taking care of Kurt himself. And speaking of Kurt, let's go back to the actor here. So Clancy Brown, to me, this was a scene of the season acting-wise for him, and maybe any of the actors in the show, when he's talking about his abusive drunk father. And it shows in the flashbacks that his father would beat these girls. It's traumatic childhood. That song we always hear him playing was playing on the record player in the truck. And he's like, I lived in fear he would turn on me like that, which is definitely a truthful statement by him. But what can get confusing on first watch, and you should watch the scene twice just to really process everything that's going on, is that, he's saying to Angela that he saw his dad in such a foul mood that night pick up Iris. Should have stopped him. But he ends it as they drove off, and that's the last he saw of Iris. But we see, actually, what's going on in the visual is that Kurt is the driver. He says his name's Kurt. And, he originally did suggest to take her back home, knowing how bad it was out there for a girl at night in that area, knowing how his dad is. But he shot her with this rifle when running away. So this is huge, because this is the first step to learning about his MO here and why he recreates this scene. We still don't know the embalming part, why that's a thing yet, which is definitely going to be revealed soon, which is exciting, but that was interesting. But it's a smart move by Kurt, because it's a DNA thing he's going against. He's going to pin it on his own father that he hates, and it weakens the case for Angela. But Angela knows he's full of it, and he offers the handshake, and she doesn't even give it back. But where I want to hit with Angela here is it's so interesting when Molly sees Angela. This is bad news, because Molly brings up Jim is like a little weird and creepy, right? And that, why was he following me? And they connect from where they're sitting at the bar, the convo distance, that there's no way Dexter would have heard her and Kurt talking, that he must have recorded them. And Angela then says, it's also weird he was eating pie with Kurt after he knew he was a prime suspect. So this is all the slop that Dexter's been doing to protect his son, not making sure he's keeping his cover to Angela and people like Molly still. And she says, Molly, I would totally do a deep dive. Not like he's hiding anything from you. You're the chief of police. But we know, and Angela knows, he did. Just his identity, of course. So this is bad news for Dexter. And this is the start of what you could see from last episode, that we're going towards this downfall of Dexter. There's going to be some sort of tragic ending here. And Dexter seems like going to get caught by the police, but also he's in trouble with another serial killer. So he goes to Kurt's office looking for the other screw, right? And he finds another envelope with a check from Elric Kane for $5,000. So this clearly is the man paying him for whatever he wants these embalmed bodies for. So I want to hear the theories on that, where that's going, right? And Dexter overhears the diner workers say that Kurt got released. So he's like, yep, I'm going to have to kill him. But again, this is too late for Dexter. But we also see Harrison goes to swipe the wrestlers who are giving him crap for hurting their friend with a Trini blade. But Dexter stops him, and This leads to a nice moment with Dexter and Harrison. They're finally getting this dirty laundry out. Like, I'm fed up. They weren't nightmares. They were the real. I'm so angry. Everything happened with his mom, the Trini killer. I think about it all the time. And hurting people, he says to Dexter, which is huge. That's a huge moment. But, of course, I've seen a lot of commenters mention this, how it's frustrating. Harrison ends scenes running away. It's like, especially in this one, because we're finally getting to things with him and Dexter. Like, we're making progress here between the two, and then he runs away. But I was also a little frustrated, too, that I've already made my complaint about this, I hate they do like a preview of the episode in the episode, where they show little clips what's to come. They didn't need to show Harrison swiping with a Trini blade. That was kind of too much of a giveaway. It kind of took away from that moment for sure. But you see, Dexter's like, I was wrong. I have to tell Harrison everything. This big character change. This big realization too late, though, because Kurt's watching them here, and the mystery truck driver gets Dexter. Wow, what a cliffhanger. And it's really exciting now to see. We still have 3 episodes left. So what is going to happen here, especially the last 2 episodes, building up so much momentum, so intense. I mean, it's just making the sky the limit here for these last episodes and what we're going to see. But I'm going to predict, too, that like we're going to this now that Dexter's in serious trouble, and this is going to be something where Harrison, is probably going to go to try save Dexter. And stuff's gonna hit the fan with the cops with Dexter, and I still don't think Harrison is this, like, killer. I think they're just gonna kind of maybe make him as someone who'll go to extremes to protect his dad at this point, but I think it's, like, a lot of red herrings with Harrison here throughout the season.
Communism was just a red herring.
And it might just be something where, like, he's tempted to become like his father, and at the end he chooses not to. So we'll see. I hope they land this well. I think they will. It's just all clicking now, and really feels like no scene is wasted here. And I always am someone, I was hard on episode 5. I bashed it, but that was one of the writers on this episode, so I'm obviously going to give credit when they do a great job, and I think this was a way better job by them, so props to that writer.
You go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself!
And yeah, I'm excited. I'm giving this one a 9.4. I actually think this was the best episode of the season, but part of that's too because everything's kind of clicking that was set up so well, so I just think we're in a great zone of television for this show. I'm excited to see what's going to happen next. Let me know what you think down below. I read every comment. I try to respond to as many as I can. Give me any theories you got. And please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter, Instagram for more of me. And if you love what I do here, I really appreciate if you can become a member today. It'll help me do more reviews for you guys, and you get special perks as well. And I'll see you next time.